there's so much in the news right now with the NHL, Zach, that I gotta step back for a second, and it's the Buffalo Sabres. And two aspects of the Buffalo Sabres, you know, it's called hit and misses, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about miss one, and then we're going to talk about hit one. Because I think about the Maple Leafs, and I'm thinking in my head, how are we going to go about winning this cup this year? And we got the most unbeatable goalie tandem there is. Nobody's going to be able to stop us. So I go and I see the power rankings just came out, and I said, fantastic. We got to be looking real good here. We're definitely goalie tandem number one, but we are not, because those pesky Boston Bruins have a guy by the name of Linus Ullmark. I hope I pronounced that right.
Linus Ullmark.
Linus. Oh, just like in Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
With the blanket. So Linus with the blanket, all he's done is gone 15-1 with a 1.82 goals against and a 939 save percentage. And looking at the standings as of today, because we just finished off the LA game with Toronto, we'll get into that obviously, but the Leafs are, winning every game in a row, but yet they're still behind the Bruins. Those pesky Bruins have 43 points at this point of taping. The Leafs are at 40 points. And I'm thinking, how the heck did they figure out this Linus guy, and what miracle did they have here? Well, Buffalo let him escape to Boston in 2021. So my question to you is, what was Buffalo thinking? Why didn't they lock up this guy? Why is he not a Buffalo Sabre right now? And why the heck is he on Boston?
Okay, so I'm going to attribute it to the same thing as Matt Murray, right? Ottawa wanted the guy's head, right? Like they were like, he's horrible. He's done. He's a wash. We want nothing to do with him. Kyle Dubas says, well, I think you may be overlooking this situation, and there may be, factors that you're not willing to consider. And he brought Matt Murray in, and Matt Murray is what, 8-1, 9-1 at this point, 9-2, something like that. Buffalo, as of 2-3 years ago, still almost now, is a horrible team. They've always just been bad.
No, they stunk, Zach. They were absolutely.
So what are you going to do? Blame it on a goalie? Listen, the rule growing up when I coached minor hockey was we always like to look at the goalies who played on the worst teams. Okay, the reason is they get a bad rep. They want to leave because it's not motivating to lose all the time. But they also get peppered with the most shots out of any team. Ullmark was getting lit up. Okay, what is the guy going to do? Now you put the juggernaut of a team that Boston Bruins have been for the last, 10, 15 years, a good, solid defensive structure. Their coach is doing a good job, but I don't think he's, revolutionized hockey. They've had good coaching in Cassidy for a long time, even with him gone.
Are you referring to Jim Montgomery?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I know. He's up for the Jack Adams right now. They're already praising his work. Like I said, Cassidy brought them there. The Bruins have always been in contention. They've been a juggernaut for years, and that's with Chara barely playing any ice time too. And so even now when he's gone, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. So suddenly you put a team with great defense, great offensive capabilities. When you control the puck the majority of the game, it's a lot easier. And you put Ullmark in net, and he goes, wow, I guess this is what it feels like to not face 52 shots a game. So yeah, he's going to look great. No different with Matt Murray. Once you give, and don't forget too, Buffalo, and what's going on with Jack Eichel, they're not willing to spend money on their players. Okay, they've had tons of problems on their play, and I don't mean just in cap. I mean in the actual services the players get, the medical staff, the training facilities, all of those things. They're unwilling because they're a bad team. They've been a bad team. I don't blame them, but you're not going to get what's best for the player there. Matt Murray comes to the Leafs, which, as far as I'm concerned, is the most cash-rich team in the NHL, and now the guy is putting up 8-0, 9-1, 9-2, whatever it is. Samsanov, the same thing, come from bad years. They're both bouncing back because they have a good, strong defensive team in front of them. So Ullmark was never that bad, though he's definitely playing better, behind a really good team.
Well, take a look at his numbers, Zach, and I'm not going to analyze them right now, but I think he did not too bad in Buffalo considering what he was playing with there. In his first year in Boston, did pretty well, I would say. But man, he's been lights out. Do you not get the feeling that we are destined to face this man in the playoffs, the Toronto Maple Leafs? That's a feeling as well.
Who, Linus Ullmark?
Yeah, he's going to be facing the Leafs. Yeah, it's coming.
Until it's restructured, it's inevitable. The Leafs right now, I think they're slaughtered to play Tampa, because it's Boston, then the Leafs, and then...
we are not making NHL pairings right now in December for the playoffs, but I guarantee you that they're going to meet, whether it's the second round or whatever it's going to be, but it's going to happen, Zach.
The Leafs are going to meet them. The Leafs they're going to get a couple rounds under their belt this year. They've such strong defensive capabilities right now, and I like the trajectory of the way that the team is going and the players that they're starting to keep. Forget about the ones that they have, but the ones they're starting to keep. So they're going to face Boston, and they're going to beat Boston.
Well, I'm taking a look see here because the Devils at 43 points. I don't think that's lasting anytime soon. That's all smoke and mirrors as far as I'm concerned. Yes, they have talent and everything else, but I think they're due for a cold streak. The Lightning at 33 points are going to get hot, guaranteed. And it's going to be Boston, Toronto, Tampa. Let's see what happens. But for all the misses and the hits, Buffalo now has my new favorite hockey player. I am jumping firmly on the bandwagon, and it is Tage Thompson. Sports radio, besides the fact in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, talking about the Leafs nonstop and dissecting them, it's Tage Thompson mania running wild across the NHL. So let's run through it, Zach, here. I got some info for you. 5 goals, 6-point performance in the 9-4 rout of the Columbus Blue Jackets. 5 goals matched the record of Anderchuk back in 86. Okay. Hat trick in the first opening 12 minutes. That is insanity. And a franchise record 4 for Thompson. Wow. And he matched an NHL record by becoming the 4th player ever with 4 goals in a period. Like, wow.
Yeah, no,
that was insanity.
It is insanity. It was against the terrible Columbus Blue Jackets team. Am I impressed by Tage Thompson? I will tell you that, family holidays, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago, we were watching preseason games. Okay. Me and my family and my cousins who, very into hockey. We coached them, my brothers, and we're sitting there and I look at this guy who's playing for St. Louis, it was at the time. He's 6'4", tall and lanky, and he was controlling the puck so well. And I was sitting there thinking, what's this guy's name? Tage, whatever his Page something. And I told my brother to look him up, and he goes, Tage Thompson. I said, mark my words, you watch Tage Thompson, this guy is going to be good. Reason being, how often do you find a 6'6" centerman who can dominate play, skate well, and has handles? There hasn't been one in the NHL for years. So I was hot in the guy even before he became big. But and then eventually through the World Juniors and everything like that, my brothers and I, we knew Tage Thompson was going to be a big deal. We liked the move of getting rid of Eichel because it gave him a platform to really succeed. 5 goals in a game is unreal. 4 goals in a period is ridiculous. And what baffles me just as a coach is I don't know how the Columbus coach, whoever he is, couldn't figure out, hey, just put 2 people on this guy, maybe even 3, double team, play the body, something. It was nonsense. But on the same token, most of his goals were power play goals. So,
well, that being said, Zach, I did not know that you called Tage Thompson. That's a good call by you. Well done, because that's why you're the hockey guy for us, besides being the money guy, obviously. Yeah. I have the claim to fame that I predicted Shaq would be one of the best basketball players of all time before he joined the NBA. I called Shaq, so thank you very much.
There you go.
Tage Thompson, more stats. So interesting little tidbits about him. 2nd U.S.-born player to score 5 goals in a game. Okay. 4th player in NHL history to record 4 goals in a period, joining Peter Bondra, Grant Mulvey, and Joe Malone. 4th active player to score 5 goals in a game, joining Timo Meyer, Mika Zabzhenzhizh, and Patrick Laney. It's Thompson's 3rd career hat trick and 2nd of the season already. Now, interesting little parallels here. So he was born in Arizona. He was drafted in 2016, 1st round, in fact, 26 overall. Know who went 1st overall that year?
I think it's Austin Matthews, no?
It is Austin Matthews, absolutely. Yeah. And they're both U.S. born. Although Austin was born in California, but grew up and raised in Arizona. So they have this Arizona connection.
Well, Tage Thompson spent his whole summer training with Austin Matthews last summer.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, Tage on the season now, 26 games, 21 goals, 19 assists, 40 points, and a +7. But for his career, 249 games, 143 points. What is his plus minus in his career, would you say, Zach?
Oh, playing for Buffalo's got to be like -40.
It's -50. Yeah. It is brutal.
That's what you get. You're playing with Buffalo. It's the name of the game.
So let's play GM right now, Zach.
Oh, I love that.
Okay. Buffalo calls Toronto. Says, listen, we got the greatest player going right now. This is the guy now. This is the new face of the NHL. You got a guy, Austin Matthews. We got Tage. We're gonna give you Tage. Plus, we're gonna help out with your defense. Take a look at our defense core. Pick what you want from there. We'll take Austin Matthews off your hand. Who hangs up the phone on that one?
Dubas.
He does, eh?
Oh yeah.
Why?
It's not to say that Tage Thompson isn't going to be a great hockey player. The guy has a skill set and the physical build to be a fantastic hockey player. I don't know if he's got the same mentality as Austin Matthews. If you ever watch Austin Matthews, just his demeanors during the game, post game, the guy is not happy unless not only does he win, but he kills the opponent. 3-2 game, you see the guy, just look at his face. He's pissed, okay? Unless he gets 1-2 goals a night, he does not care. He is a freaking competitor. Tage Thompson, I don't know that about him yet. Not to mention, on top of that, Austin Matthews thinks the game so well, okay? If you watched the game last night and just watch his positioning, offensive and defensive zone. The guy, he can see what's going to happen in the play 3 steps ahead before anyone else can. And you can't teach that. Like, that is a skill. You either just have it or you don't. I've coached kids, who just didn't even have a clue what was going on the ice. I only had a couple where they saw the game this way. They didn't unfortunately have the skill to make anything out of it, but you could see they would track the play like precision hockey players. And Matthews has that skill. And that's huge, because forget about the fact that the guy can put in 60 in a year. If you can defend, which is what I like about his game more now, if you can defend and prevent 60, it's even better.